How many times have you felt completely crushed by circumstances beyond your control? Your promotion denied, relationship ended, or plans destroyed by events you never saw coming. Most people live their entire lives as victims of external forces. But not you. Not after today. What if I told you that the most powerful people throughout history, from emperors to CEOs, share one quality that most never discover? Machiavelli called it unbreakable inner power, a psychological fortress that no external force can penetrate. This isn't about positive thinking or repeating mantras in the mirror. Those techniques crumble under real pressure. What I'm about to share works when everything else fails. In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to build mental fortitude so powerful that even when your world is burning down around you, you remain the calmest person in the room. You'll learn how to access reserves of inner strength that 99% of people never tap into. The methods I'm about to share aren't taught in schools or typical self-help books. They come from studying history's most resilient minds and modern psychological research that most people will never encounter. By the end of this video, you'll have concrete daily practices that transform how you respond to pressure, criticism, and chaos. You'll stop being controlled by circumstances and start controlling your response to them. This is the difference between those who break under pressure and those who thrive because of it. The choice is yours. Continue being at the mercy of the world around you, or build your psychological fortress starting today. Number 1. The pressure transmutation method. Have you ever watched someone completely fall apart under pressure while another person seems to get stronger? The difference isn't luck or genetics. It's a skill that most people never develop. Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed. Maybe your heart raced, your mind clouded, and your confidence shattered. What if that same pressure could actually fuel your success instead of destroying it? Nature shows us this transformation everywhere. Grapes must be crushed to create wine. Carbon must endure extreme pressure to become diamonds. And you must face pressure to develop unbreakable inner power. Most people try to avoid pressure at all costs. They run from difficult conversations. They quit when tasks get hard. They choose comfort over growth. But pressure isn't your enemy. It's the raw material of your strength. The ancient Stoics understood this. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle is the way. Machiavelli observed that the strongest leaders weren't those who avoided challenges, but those who transformed challenges into advantages. This is the essence of what I call pressure transmutation. So here's tip number 1 of 5, the pressure transmutation method. This 3-step process will transform external pressure into internal power. Step 1, pressure recognition. The next time you feel pressure building, a tight deadline, a difficult conversation, or a major decision, stop and physically locate where you feel it in your body. Is it a knot in your stomach, tension in your shoulders, a tightness in your chest? Place your hand on that spot and acknowledge it. Say to yourself, this is not stress. This is raw power waiting to be channeled. Step 2, breath conversion. Take 3 deep breaths. On each inhale, imagine drawing all that sensation of pressure into your lungs. On each exhale, imagine that energy flowing not out of your body, but into your core, your center of gravity. This isn't about relaxation, it's about conversion. You're not trying to get rid of the pressure, you're transforming it. Step 3, power direction. Ask yourself, what would be possible if I used this energy rather than let it use me? Then direct that converted power toward one clear, immediate action. Make the call you've been avoiding. Start the project you've been delaying. Have the conversation you've been dreading. People who master pressure transmutation don't just survive difficult situations, they thrive because of them. World-class athletes use this method before competition. Elite military units train this way. Top business leaders practice this daily. The beauty of this method is that it works instantly, anywhere, anytime, no special equipment, no private space needed, just your mind converting what would break most people into what makes you unbreakable. Practice this daily, even with small pressures, and when the major challenges come, and they will come, you'll have a psychological fortress that turns every attack into an asset, every pressure into power. Number 2, the invisible armor exercise. Did you know that in medieval times, before knights put on their physical armor, many performed a ritual to build what they called spiritual armor? They believed physical protection was useless without first strengthening the mind. They were right. In today's world, we face constant attacks not from swords, but from criticism, rejection, doubt, and negativity. These modern weapons can pierce even the most successful person's confidence if they haven't built proper protection. Think about your most vulnerable moments, when harsh words from a boss deflated your confidence, when rejection made you question your worth, when failure made you want to quit. What if you could make yourself immune to these attacks? Renaissance strategists studied under Machiavelli developed what they called invisible armor. Not physical protection, but psychological boundaries that external forces couldn't penetrate. Today's most resilient leaders use the same concept, just with different names. This brings us to tip number 2 of 5, the invisible armor exercise. This 5-minute daily visualization practice will create psychological boundaries that prevent external negativity from penetrating your mindset. Here's how it works. Find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and picture yourself standing in an empty space. Now, imagine building protective layers around yourself, one by one. The first layer represents your core values. What principles guide your life no matter what? Maybe it's honesty, courage, or compassion. Visualize this layer as a soft, golden light emanating from within you. This inner layer can never be damaged because your values are entirely your choice. The second layer represents your past victories. Remember times when you overcame obstacles, proved doubters wrong, or surprised even yourself with your capabilities. See this layer forming as a strong, flexible material, like the world's strongest fabric, wrapping around the golden light of your values. The third layer represents your future vision. Where are you going? What are you building? Who are you becoming? Visualize this outer layer as a brilliant reflective shield that shows attackers only their own limitations, not yours. Now imagine typical scenarios that would normally upset you. Your boss criticizes your work. A friend betrays your trust. You face a major setback. Watch as these attacks hit your invisible armor and either bounce off or are absorbed as fuel for your determination. Before ending the visualization, create a physical gesture, perhaps touching your heart with your hand or gently tapping your temple, that will instantly recall this armor whenever you need it during the day. Elite performers across all fields use variations of this technique. Olympic athletes visualize their performance surrounded by protection from distractions. Top executives practice mental boundaries before difficult negotiations. Special forces operators create psychological armor before missions. The true value of invisible armor isn't just protection, it's liberation. When you're no longer at the mercy of others' opinions or external setbacks, you gain a freedom that most never experience. Your decisions become clearer, your actions become bolder, your progress becomes unstoppable. Practice this 5-minute exercise daily, and within weeks you'll develop psychological boundaries so strong that what once devastated you will barely register as a distraction. Number 3, decision sovereignty protocol. Have you ever made a decision you knew deep down was wrong, but you did it anyway because someone else approved of it? Or hesitated on a choice that felt right because you feared judgment? You're not alone. Most people live their entire lives making decisions based on external validation rather than internal wisdom. Parents, friends, society, media, we've all been trained to seek permission from outside ourselves before taking action. This external decision-making creates a prison so subtle most never realize they're trapped. You feel the bars when you constantly ask, "What will they think?" before making choices. You feel the weight of the chains when regret hits because you ignored your own instincts. Throughout history, the most powerful leaders shared a common trait Machiavelli identified. They made decisions from what he called a sovereign mind. They consulted advisors, yes, but final decisions came from within, not from external approval. This brings us to tip number 3 of 5, the Decision Sovereignty Protocol. This 4-question framework will help you reclaim authority over your decisions and eliminate the psychological burden of seeking approval. Here's how it works. Before making any significant decision, find a quiet moment and ask yourself these 4 questions in exact order. Question 1. What would I choose if no one would ever know my decision? This strips away your concern for appearances and judgment. Write down your immediate answer without censoring yourself. Question 2. What would I choose if I had to live with this decision for 5 years, but others only had to live with it for 5 minutes? This question separates long-term wisdom from short-term people-pleasing. Again, write your answer. Question 3. What does the most courageous version of me want to do? This invokes your highest self rather than your fearful self. The answer often comes as a physical sensation before it becomes a thought. Notice what your body tells you. Question 4. If I make this choice, what kind of person am I becoming? This question connects your decision to your identity and growth. Decisions aren't just about outcomes. They're about who you're becoming in the process. After answering all 4 questions, you'll likely see a clear pattern. This is your sovereign decision. It may align with external advice or it may not. What matters is that it comes from your center of authority rather than borrowed judgment. The world's most effective leaders use versions of this protocol. CEOs make company-defining decisions this way. Commanders make strategic choices using this framework. And now you can use it too, for everything from career moves to relationship choices to daily priorities. When you implement the Decision Sovereignty Protocol, you'll notice immediate changes. Regret diminishes because even difficult outcomes were chosen from your values, not imposed from outside. Confidence grows because each sovereign decision builds trust in your judgment. Speed increases because you're no longer waiting for permission slips from others. Start with one decision today, even a small one. Walk through these 4 questions. Feel what it's like to choose from sovereignty rather than submission. Then watch as your psychological fortress grows stronger with each choice that comes from within rather than without. Number 4. The Fortress Foundation Ritual. Have you noticed how some days you crack under the slightest pressure, while other days you handle major challenges with ease? The difference isn't the size of the problem, it's the foundation you built before facing it. Most people start their days reactively. They grab their phones, check messages, scroll social media, and immediately put their minds in response mode rather than strength mode. By the time they face their first challenge, they've already surrendered their psychological power. History's most formidable leaders, from emperors to generals to business titans, shared a common practice. They began each day by reinforcing their mental foundation before engaging with the world's demands. Machiavelli observed this pattern among those who maintained their power through turbulent times. This brings us to tip number 4 of 5. The Fortress Foundation Ritual. This structured 12-minute morning practice specifically builds psychological fortitude before daily challenges begin. Here's the exact sequence. Set your alarm 12 minutes earlier than usual. When you wake, resist the urge to check devices. Instead, move immediately into these 3 phases. Phase 1 takes 4 minutes. Physical movement. This isn't about fitness, it's about asserting control over your physical state. Stand tall and perform 20 deep squats, 20 arm circles, and 20 jumping jacks. No matter how you feel, commanding your body proves to your mind that you can override impulses and direct your energy. Phase 2 takes 4 minutes. Strategic silence. Sit comfortably with your back straight. Place your hands palms down on your thighs. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. 4 seconds inhale, 4 seconds hold, 4 seconds exhale. During this silence, don't try to clear your mind. Instead, observe your thoughts without attachment. When challenges appear in your thoughts, simply nod and say mentally, "That too I will handle with strength." Phase 3 takes 4 minutes. Identity reinforcement. Still sitting with eyes closed, mentally repeat these 5 statements. I am the architect of my responses, not the victim of circumstances. I choose power over reaction in every moment. What would break others makes me stronger. My worth comes from within, not from outside validation. I am building a fortress that no external force can breach. As you finish this ritual, place your hand on your heart and take one final deep breath. The foundation is set. Now you can start your day from a position of power rather than vulnerability. Elite performers across fields use variations of this ritual. Professional athletes practice similar sequences before competitions. Military leaders use comparable methods before missions. Top executives implement such rituals before critical business days. The science confirms why this works. Physical movement increases blood flow and triggers confidence-building hormones. Strategic silence activates your parasympathetic nervous system, improving decision-making under pressure. Identity reinforcement engages neuroplasticity, strengthening the neural pathways of resilience. The true power of this ritual isn't just how it affects your morning, it's how it transforms your entire day. Challenges that would have triggered stress now trigger focus. Setbacks that would have caused doubt now inspire determination. People who would have drained your energy now bounce off your psychological boundaries. Commit to this 12-minute ritual for just 7 days. Notice how differently you respond to pressure, criticism, and obstacles. Notice how much clearer your decisions become. Notice how much stronger your psychological fortress grows with each day you build upon a proper foundation. Number 5. Chaos Clarity Training. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm and focused during chaos while others completely fall apart? The difference isn't personality, it's training. Most people spend their lives avoiding discomfort and uncertainty. They create routines and systems specifically designed to eliminate surprise. The problem? Life doesn't care about your comfort zone. Crisis hits, plans fail, change accelerates. And those who've avoided discomfort are the first to break. Throughout history, the most powerful leaders deliberately exposed themselves to controlled chaos to build mental strength. Machiavelli documented how princes who trained this way developed what he called the eye of stillness, the ability to see clearly when everyone else was blinded by panic. This brings us to tip number 5 of 5, Chaos Clarity Training. This progressive system will gradually increase your comfort with uncertainty, building your capacity to maintain focus amid disruption. Here's how it works. You'll deliberately introduce controlled chaos into your life, starting small and progressively increasing intensity. Each level builds your psychological fortress through specific challenges. Level 1. Daily Pattern. Interruption. For 1 week, change one small habit each day. Take a different route to work. Use your non-dominant hand for routine tasks. Eat lunch at a different time. These tiny disruptions train your brain to stay calm when expectations aren't met. Level 2. Comfort zone expansion. For the second week, do one thing daily that makes you slightly uncomfortable. Have a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Try a new skill you might fail at. Speak up in a meeting when you'd normally stay quiet. Each small discomfort builds your resilience muscle. Level 3. Deadline pressure training. In week 3, give yourself artificial but strict deadlines for tasks. Cut your normal work time in half and still demand quality output. This trains your mind to find clarity and solutions under time constraints rather than collapsing into stress. Level 4. Sensory override. In week 4, complete important tasks amid distractions. Work in noisy environments without headphones. Have important conversations in busy places. Make decisions while music plays. This develops your ability to maintain focus when your senses are overloaded. Level 5. The Unexpected Response Challenge. In the final week, when facing any negative situation, force yourself to find 3 potential benefits before allowing yourself to see problems. This rewires your default response from reactivity to strategic thinking. Throughout this training, maintain what Machiavellian strategists called the eye of stillness. Before reacting to any chaos, even your self-imposed training chaos, take one deep breath and remind yourself, I am not what happens to me. I am how I respond. Elite military units use similar progressive chaos training. Top business consultants apply these principles with executives. Professional athletes practice making decisions under increasingly difficult conditions. The neurological changes from this training are profound. Your amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes less reactive to minor disruptions. Your prefrontal cortex, the brain's executive control center, remains online during stress rather than shutting down. Your entire nervous system recalibrates to find opportunity in chaos rather than threat. Begin with level 1 today. Notice how quickly your mind adapts to small disruptions. As you progress through all 5 levels over 5 weeks, you'll develop a psychological fortress that doesn't just withstand chaos, it thrives because of it. You now possess the 5 most powerful methods for building what Machiavelli called Unbreakable Inner Power. Your psychological fortress. The pressure transmutation method transforms challenges into fuel. The invisible armor exercise creates boundaries against negativity. The decision sovereignty protocol frees you from seeking external approval. The fortress foundation ritual builds your mental strength each morning, and chaos clarity training develops your ability to find focus amid disruption. These aren't theoretical concepts, they're practical tools used by history's most resilient minds and today's top performers. With consistent practice, what once seemed like superhuman mental strength will become your normal state of being. External circumstances will no longer determine your internal condition. You'll respond rather than react, choose rather than comply, and build rather than break. Your psychological fortress awaits. Begin building today.